Hello, everyone, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I try to share my technical analysis on stocks and indices from the current market scenario for an educational purposes only. And today's video is on Nifty and on Dow Jones. So, how global markets and our markets are looking going ahead from here over the next couple of days or weeks, and how it's going to play out is what I'm going to discuss today. But before I go there, a reminder to my viewers that the first webinar got over today of the basic module for the how to read financial charts on candlesticks and Fibonacci and trend line understanding and everything, which was a success. Those who want to register now for the coming videos of this coming weekend is harmonic patterns, followed by next weekend. We start off with Ichimoku after that, and on the mind and the market, how the trading discipline is required, how the risk is to be managed, what is the top down approach, how do we complement different studies, and how to minimize risk, most important factor in the markets and all that. So details in the link below. Those interested in joining, do register. And so if you have any query, do send in an email and I would respond to that promptly. Now let's have a look at Nifty. Now, before we go into the charts, let's see what the option data is telling us for this week. Now, this week, Tuesday being a holiday, so we only have three more sessions to go in for the weekly expiry. Now, here we can see in the weekly expiry already that the data suggesting that 17,000 put has got a good OI built up of 82,000. 17,100 also has got a very decent OI build up. So there was 51,000 OI addition in 17,100, which was a quite a decent number. I think it must have been much higher during the day. In that second, the sell off of 215 must have seen a much higher reduction taking place out here. Yeah, but this is still very good. Failure to hold 17,000 as per this data suggests that the next major level would come in at 16,800 and then 16,500. These two look as the other strikes which are looking like major bases, and we saw addition happening all throughout in that site, mainly because writers must be looking at, this, the week is one day off, and so more writing possibilities coming up in that context. Now let's have a look at what the call side is looking at. So again, massive build up in 17,100 call. Now most of this again was written yesterday. It started the expiry with 12,000 odd, 55,000 written, and generally these are the writers who get trapped both sides, not just on the call side, but even on the put side when so close writing takes place in the market from that purpose. But the main interesting one is further down at 17,300. That's a solid OI build up. And then the next one at 17,500. So we have 16,800, 17,000, 17,100. This belt first supporting the market, and then we go down to this belt out here of 16,800 and then to 16,500, and out here the wall starts at 17,300 for this particular week out here. So interestingly poised, if these levels hold, we know where the next 3 days will have a hindrance coming up in as per this week's expiry. Now let's have a look at what the next week is suggesting, because it's a truncated week. What would happen on 12th of May data? 12th May data, not much evidence, very little OI built up on both the sides. Nothing much out here. So let's have a look at what the monthly is suggesting to us. The monthly data, it's quite interesting. You can see out here that the OI buildup on the put side is very heavy. It's quite heavy on the put side already. It just started the settlement, and there is a big one out here. There is a big one out here also, suggesting that the writers are looking at this range to hold for quite a bit of time. We saw this. Look at this writing on this data. There's a lot of addition out here. 16,500 in a monthly, and out here on the call side, we can see at 17,500 a decent build up happening out here. 17,500 looks like a good resistance in the monthly. Let's see what anything below above that suggesting anything major happening. Yes, at 18,300. But vis-a-vis the put side, the call side, OI interest heavy addition hasn't taken place yet. So writers probably anticipating that there will be more sideways, or they are anticipating a slight push up, then they would see writing probably taking place as resistance, as the Nifty could approach a resistance on the upside. That's my interpretation so far of the data going ahead. That this data is not looking that bearish, the monthly one, but monthly is far away. We for now look at the week, the this week only, which is very clear: 17,000, 17,100, 16,800, 500 on the support side, while the resistance at 17,300, 500. Now, before I look at the Nifty chart and suggest what I am looking at out here, let's talk about Dow Jones. Now, Dow Jones has been had a major plunge since 21st April. That's a massive fall from 35,300 all the way to 32,900. It's a huge leap we saw. Now look at but how the placement is taking place in the weekly now. The weekly Ichimoku cloud support is fantastic. It's at the future Kumo is bearish, no doubt, but this is something which is a good support zone. If held, then we could see a dead cat bounce taking place in the Dow, or it would go sideways. This crushing blow which we're seeing in the last 2 weeks is now at a serious support level. This kind of support doesn't usually give up so easily. We do see a Ichimoku Kumo bounce taking place at those levels. Now, in the case of the daily time frame, it has completed its first leg of a bearish harmonic dragon. So it's a preempted pattern which we sell towards the target, and this one completed its target yesterday. 32,900 was the target. Now, failure to hold 32,500 would mean bad days, real bad days in that case. For the Dow, 32,500 does not, if it fails to hold that, then we are looking at 31,500 odd levels, or even below that. 31,000 also would be a possible target in that case. So the major plunge would come if these levels do not hold in the case of Dow. Now, because most world markets are coupled and they tend to perform in along the same line, let's see what the Nifty is suggesting. If the Dow is at a support, is Nifty also at a support? Yes, it's approaching that support of 17,000 odd level, which is a weekly as well as the daily time frame support as per Ichimoku. Now, both these supports suggesting that if Nifty holds on to 17,000, I would like to keep it on a at least for hour or 2 hours basis, not just touch and go, then good chances of turnaround. Now, below 17,000, there is a next line of support comes in at 16,800. Again, the option data is showing a similar class scenario. And break of that is 16,500, 16,200 possibility. But like I said, there is a possibility that the market might hold on to these levels. If the most important criteria for me right now is that 17,000 should, hold after a bad opening, probably an hour or half an hour below it, and then they manage to pull it up. That would be a extremely positive trigger. Now, what kind of a scenario I am looking at currently? There are two alternates from a point of view that the market will continue to hold these levels or try to attempt a upper move in that case. So the first one is that it did its first leg out here, then it is moving on a sideways correction, which is probably something like this. Tomorrow we open below 17 or 16,900 or wherever Singapore is suggesting, we we spend some time out here, or we bounce back at this level from there, and then we resume the up move from here. That up move would, over the couple of weeks, not in a day or two, over a couple of weeks, would take us to 17,700, 800. This kind of move. In that case, what we are looking at is that this is the low, and out here we make a higher low. Okay, this would be my sideways correction taking place in the Nifty. This would be my sideways correction in the shorter time frame, extremely volatile, taking stop loss both sides. And that's what the market has been doing precisely. All stocks and even the indices, they open strong, they end up weak, they start weak, they end up strong. The stocks run for one day and do a sharp pullback, taking away all the profits. And in the short side also, we've seen stocks going sideways, quiet, one day dip, and then an immediate sharp reaction. So complete narrow range, trendless market, not a breakout market so far. So not the one of the biggest indicators has been breakout traders have lost a lot of money or are losing, small amounts of money here because the market is not giving a proper breakout direction either side. So when markets go quiet sideways, it does not mean that it is going to crash or it's going to ride. You have to wait for a clarity of direction to come out of it at that case, in that case of time. Volatility continues in that zone. So that's one outlook I have. The other one is, again, I feel that if in case the market does not uh, breach the down wall, but it goes quiet. So there is a possibility of a bearish triangle formation out here. That's a bearish outlook. Okay. We see a bearish triangle formation in the making, which goes first leg up, second leg down, third leg up, fourth leg down. So as long as this leg does not breach the 16,800 wall out here, and then the fifth leg up, which would be 17,250 to 17,300 at the most, squeezing in, and then the plunge all the way down. That would be the bearish outlook. So even in my reading, even the bearish outlook uh, would take some time to develop and then take a plunge, and that would only be possible if we do not breach that 16,800 ball. So from a bullish point of view for 17,800, we need to see Nifty bounce back above 17,000 without falling too much after a gap down opening or a weak opening. Or the other thing is we go completely quiet for the next couple of days. We struggle to see it cross 17,300. Then it turns down and it becomes a real ugly scenario for the downside plunge move. So all in all, one thing is very clear. The chances of a new high right now look very, very weak. The chances of a downside after we attempt a short-term rally in the month of May are brighter, or we go sideways and then we plunge down. That is my reading of Nifty as of now, and I would like to see how it plays out. I hope this video is of help to you. This entire scenario, however, scenarios which I've explained. So don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And the end disclaimer, this is not a trading investing advice. Please do your entire research. This is only for educational purposes. So until then, happy investing, everyone. Bye-bye.